Hello, everyone. Welcome students and thank you for joining us for today's College Week Live webinar presentation by Education USA. My name is Anubhuti Arora and I'm an Education USA advisor at the United States India Education Foundation, and this is our host organization in India. So I'm going to talk to you today about undergraduate studies in the US. So the exact theme of my presentation is discovering undergraduate education in the United States. And This is what I will take you through today. These are some of the objectives. These are some of the session objectives that I'm going to emphasize on today. So I'm going to talk to you a little about Education USA Network in general. I'm going to talk to you about, I'm going to give you an overview of undergraduate studies in the United States. I'm going to talk to you about the different components of an application form. And I'm going to talk to you about finding your best fit US university. There are hundreds and thousands of US universities, and it's important that you choose the right institution. And the objective of today's overall webinar is to help you understand the system, navigate it, and find universities where you will be a great fit, where you will be happy to go, and where you will hopefully grow academically as well as personally. Education USA is a US Department of State network of advising centers. We are the only official source on US higher education for international students across the world. We provide accurate, current, and comprehensive information to students and families about accredited US institutions. We have over 450 centers across 170 countries, and we have developed a very comprehensive set of steps, or the 5 steps for applying to a US university. I see that some of you are also sending me questions. I am closely looking at your questions, but I will be answering them once I've taken you through the overall presentation. If you would like to know more about Education USA and you live in one of these 170 countries, you can visit our website and find the 5 steps and more information, very valuable information on applying to US universities on the link that you see on your screen, www.educationusa.state.gov. This is your link to find information on undergraduate studies in the United States. And for others, if you have other friends, there is also, and they're looking for information on graduate studies, you will also find a lot of, you'll find plenty of information on graduate studies also on this link. So I'm just going to give you a quick overview to the US higher education system. There are more than 25,000 institutions offering, 2,500 institutions offering undergraduate education in the US. There are 50 states that are culturally distinct. US institutions welcome diversity on campus and offer programs at varied costs. So there is space for everyone. There is great diversity within the United States, and there's great diversity of institutions for students to go to. The salient features of US higher education. So what really makes the US an educational magnet of the world? International students from all over the world flock to US campuses. And why is it that the US seems to be one of the favorite educational destinations for students across the globe? There is, great diversity, as I mentioned. It's extremely student-centric. The U.S. higher education is very student-centric. Everything, all services, educational format, pedagogy, course offerings, all of that is designed to meet the needs of students. If you want to enter US higher education and you want to pursue an undergraduate program in the US, you will have to take standardized tests. And I'm going to talk about standardized tests such as the SAT, the ACT, and other English proficiency standardized tests during the course of the presentation. There are no official rankings, so just looking at rankings is not a good way to understand institutions in the US. So you must know that there are no official rankings of institutions. Institutions that come out with rankings are essentially private institutions. US universities are highly autonomous and have the freedom to choose the curriculum, teaching methods, evaluation methods that they want to implement and find best for their specific institution. So there's great autonomy given to US institutions, which gives them more space and more choice to design programs that are industry relevant and that are exciting academically for students. So I'm going to talk to you now about yes, I've been getting questions about when is the perfect time to start applying. We're going to talk about all of that. But let's first get through the first few. Let's first get an overview of US higher education before we start to actually get into questions. So this is the structure really of US higher education. There is an option for students at the undergraduate level to either do a 2-year associate's program or do a 4-year undergraduate program. Students who do 2-year associates programs can also then do their 3rd and the 4th year, or the junior and the junior and the final year at another U.S. higher education institution in case your 2-year associates program and university has an articulation agreement with a 4-year college or university. So it's possible to move from a 2-year format to a 4-year format in case you want to complete your education further. Otherwise, students can also directly enter 4-year undergraduate programs if they so want to do. And after completing undergraduate studies from the United States, students also have the option of doing graduate studies in the US. Graduate studies in the US essentially includes master's education, PhD programs, and certain professional programs such as law and medicine that can only be done after you have completed a 4-year undergraduate program from the US. So just to summarize, there are some students who've joined us just lately. Just to summarize, the US higher education system is a magnet for international students. It draws international students from all over the world, the Middle East, North Africa, Europe, Asia. The US higher education is extremely flexible. US institutions are very autonomous. There are more than 2,500 undergraduate institutions in the United States, and students can pursue and find their calling from across these range of institutions that offer very interesting, industry relevant, and student-centric programs. So what are the type of institutions that you can what are the I'm getting some very exciting questions right now in the Q&A box, and I am looking at them, and I will be answering them as soon as I finish talking through my slides. In the meanwhile, just let's get through these slides first. There are different types of institutions in the US if you are looking at undergraduate studies. So as I mentioned earlier, you can do 2-year degrees or an associate's degree from a community college. If you're looking at 4-year programs, then you can go to either a college, a liberal arts and sciences college, a comprehensive university, or a specialized institution. Now, community colleges are colleges that have low entry barriers, and it's easier for students. They're not very selective, and it's much easier for students there to get admission. And students can enter these community colleges and do 2-year associate's degree. Students can go to liberal arts and sciences college that offer a more broad-based, holistic curriculum that allows you to major in specific subjects, but at the same time gain a broad understanding of diverse academic disciplines as well. So your education is going to be more holistic at a liberal arts and sciences college. A comprehensive university is an institution that has many different schools. So it would have the School of Engineering, it would probably have the School of Law, the School of Business, also a College of Arts and Sciences. So university is a big world in itself, and it has different schools or departments that specialize in offering a specific type of program or curriculum in an academic discipline. If you are looking at very specialized education and you're not looking at going to a large university, a comprehensive university, or a liberal arts and sciences college, and you're very sure that you want to just do, say, for example, engineering, or you want to specialize in creative careers in arts and design, then you should be looking at, you could also look at technical schools that offer, just engineering education or education in the area of creative arts, and hence specialized institutions could also be part of your initial shortlist that you are looking at, initial shortlist of schools that you're looking at applying to. Another way of looking at US institutions and understanding the diversity is to look at private institutions and public institutions. Private institutions in the US are essentially institutions that are funded by private bodies, corporations, philanthropists, trusts, and a diverse range of funding sources. Public institutions in the US refer to institutions that are funded essentially from the taxpayers' money, and the US government, the federal government would, and the state government would give them funds. So public institutions are funded by essentially the government, and private institutions are funded by private sources. A lot of times students ask me questions about whether it's a good idea to go to a private institution or a public institution. So there is really no answer to that, because both private and public institutions are good. You cannot assume that one is better than the other, and both need to be, both offer great quality education. So you need to look at the institution and evaluate the institution that you're looking at shortlisting in its own right. You do not have to distinguish them on the basis of private and public. You should examine the university's website. You should understand what program offerings they have. You should look at the cost of attending that particular institution, and then take a call of whether you would like to apply to that institution or not. What are some of the other special features of US higher education? US universities are very generous with providing scholarships and financial aid. They understand that cost of studying abroad can be substantial, and they are very willing to offer scholarships and financial aid to students who demonstrate talent, who demonstrate a good fit for their particular institution. So if the cost is a concern for you, and you have a good profile, you are a good student, then you can certainly apply to institutions in the US that offer funding to international students. The second special feature of US higher education would be that it's highly applied and hands-on, which means that students get to implement what they learn in class. So you're not just being tied down to rote learning. You don't just have to learn from books and texts or classroom discussions, but you will have actual and real opportunities to apply what you have learned through your theoretical, through your classwork, and through your books, or actually on ground. You will be able to do projects. You'll be able to do group work with your co-students. You will be able to do study abroad. You'll be able to do a lot of experiential activities to apply what you have learned. Hence, making you more employable in the job market in the long term. I think one of the spectacular aspects of US higher education is the kind of support services international students receive on US campuses. There are dedicated departments, there are dedicated cells that offer support to international students right from the day you actually step in to to, helping you with, academic writing, helping you with any kind of psychosocial support you need, helping you understand visas, helping you understand various other aspects of your student life, and integrating with US higher education system and campus life in general. You will have great support services and you will not feel alone when you go and study in the United States. Okay. Also, the US has great campus life and extracurricular activities, which means that not only will you grow academically, but you will have great opportunities to socialize with students from across the world and American students, and you will be able to hone some skills and some hobbies that you have. What is cost of attendance? Now, this is another very important aspect of your overall planning to go to the US. Cost of attendance is basically the sticker price of going and studying in the US. And it includes a range of costs involved, such as the tuition and fee, health insurance, living costs, books and supplies, and transportation. And this can range from $20,000 upwards per year, depending on the institution you go to and depending on the cost of the tuition fee of these different institutions and the location that you choose to go and study. So as I said, there are 50 states in the United States, and the cost of living will vary from region to region and from city to city, and that can be an important way of cutting costs. You could cutting costs while studying in the US. If you decide to go to a smaller town or a rural area, it would probably help you in cutting some of the living costs. As also the cost of studying, the tuition fee of different institutions vary. So, so basically, there are two intakes when you go to a US university. One intake would be the spring intake, which is January, and the other, the most popular intake of where most students go and study, is the fall intake, which begins in August and September. So if you're looking at applying to fall, if you're looking at applying for fall 2015, you should be starting your application related work right now, which means that you need to start putting together your academic transcripts. Hopefully you would have taken your standardized tests. You would request your teachers to provide you with letters of recommendation. You would start thinking about what you would write for your statement for your essay, and you should be ready to put together your other supplementary material. So what are the different standardized tests that you should be looking at? At the undergraduate level, students need to take the SAT or the ACT. The SAT is essentially measures you on a score of 2400. There are three different parts on the SAT exam. There is critical reading, there is the mathematics section, and there is a writing section. Students can, in case they're not taking the SAT, they could consider taking the ACT, and the ACT is scored on 36. It has an English, math, science, and a reading section. The SAT subject test. So the difference between the SAT and the ACT would be that you would not be required to take a science test on the SAT general test. If you want to demonstrate your competitiveness and your understanding of a particular subject, you could also choose to take SAT subject tests. There again, each of the SAT tests are scored on a scale of 800, and there are 20 SAT subject tests in history, social studies, mathematics, etc. Yes, Noor is asking me what is an academic transcript. And Noor, the answer to that question is that an academic transcript is a tested document issued by your high school, which has complete details of the subjects that you have read, the board of examination that you've taken, whether it's IB, whether it's Cambridge, or any other examination that your institution is following, and it has a list of all the subjects you've studied, the marks that you have or grades you have gotten in each of the subjects, and it is signed and stamped by your high school. That is what an academic transcript is, and you would need it for class 9, 10, 11, and 12. So you would need it for your entire high school. So just repeating repeating my slide on standardized tests. There are students have the option of taking the SAT or the ACT, and if students want to demonstrate their competitiveness in specific subject areas, then they could take up SAT subject tests, and they're offered in many different subjects. And a student who is going for an engineering program can would could should probably consider taking standardized tests in mathematics and one of the sciences to demonstrate to the admissions committee at the university he or she is applying to that they are competitive and they have very good grasp over quantitative and scientific principles. Okay. Hassan has asked me a question. Is 1900 score on the SAT good to get into a US college considering English is your third language? Now, Hassan, you have brought in an important point right now. So basically, US universities will, let's go to the previous slide. US universities consider the entire applicant profile. It's a very holistic application process, especially at the undergraduate level. So if you're applying for an undergraduate program to the United States, they will not just see your standardized test scores, but they will also look at your overall academic performance during high school, which is demonstrated through the academic transcripts. They will be looking at what your teachers and your counselors say about you. In the letters of recommendation that they send to different colleges. They will be seeing what kind of a person you are through your essays. So essays are a very important part of your undergraduate application packet, and essays tell admissions committees at different institutions in the US who you are beyond the numbers. So it's your chance to tell them about an achievement or about a characteristic or a quality about yourself that academic transcripts and standardized tests will not reveal. So it's a great place to display and tell them that you're a great fit for the institution and that you have some achievements up your sleeves. So all of these components are looked at in a holistic manner. So I cannot really say whether a 1900 or a 2000 is good enough for a particular college or not. So let's move on to the next slide. I'm getting a lot of questions right now, but I will be answering them once we finish some of the slides here. So there was a question pertaining to timelines for admission. I've already talked to you about the fall intake and that students need to, and so this timeline works for the fall intake. So between January and June, it's a good idea to start researching your colleges for studying in the US. You could make a long list of about 15 to 20 schools initially. You should start considering which standardized test you will take. Hopefully between May and October, you would have taken your standardized test. Once you take your standardized test, review how your scores are, review how you are academically, and make a final shortlist of 8 to 10 universities. So actually now is the right time, if you're looking at admissions in fall next year, right now is the right time, it's the appropriate time to start shortlisting your universities. And you need to forward your test scores to institutions that you have shortlisted. Between August and November, you need to start requesting your teachers to be, to give you reference letters. This is going to be part of your online application. You need to start writing your SOP or other essays, and you need to get your transcripts ready. Some schools expect transcripts to be ready, and some institutions in the U.S. would request you to make sure your transcripts are issued by the school that you're attending, the high school that you're attending, and that they are signed and sealed in an envelope and cross-signed, in which case you will have to request your high school to provide all those details and in a signed and a sealed envelope, and you can then forward that to the US universities you're looking at applying to. This process also works online. So if your high school is willing to provide all of these details online, you could forward all your details to institutions in your shortlist online. In December to January, most of your deadlines will fall between December and January to December 2014 and January 2015. You need to submit all your applications by your deadlines. Between February and July, you'll wait for universities in the US to get back to you and offer you and offer you an admission. Once you get different offers of admission, you need to compare the different offers that you've got. You need to look at the kind of financial aid, if at all, they are offering you. And once you compare the different offers that have been made to you by US universities, the different financial aid offerings that they have made, you can choose one institution, accept the offer, and then you will receive an I-20. An I-20 is an official document that US universities provide you with which you apply for your student visa. And finally, you can attend a pre-departure orientation that Education USA near you will organize. So through all of these steps, Education USA will be your partner. I would encourage you to contact an Education USA center close to you. By doing that, you will be able to get support through all of these steps, all the 5 steps of applying to a US university. Researching your institutions, for example, planning to finance your studies, completing your application, preparing, applying for your student visa, and finally preparing for your departure. These are essentially the 5 steps of applying to a US university. I'm getting some questions by parents as well, and I'll be happy to answer them very soon. It's important to find the right fit for you. As I mentioned, there are more than 2,500 institutions in the US that offer undergraduate programs. And if you are looking at finding your right fit from among these institutions, you need to closely ask yourself, what is the specialization and major you want to do? What kind of cost are you willing to bear with regards to your education? Do you have a specific location in mind in the United States that you would like to go and study at? Do you have preferences on the kind of institution that you want to go and study at? So we've discussed the different types of institutions in the United States, for example, the liberal arts and sciences colleges, national comprehensive universities, specialized institutions. So what is the type of institution you want to go to? And very important, you need to ask yourself whether the institution, and you need to find out whether the institution is accredited or not. Based on these criteria, you can find the right fit institution for you. There are 820,000 international students in the United States, and there is certainly a place for you. It's just about putting in investing time and effort by going through the 5 different steps of applying to a US university and finding your right fit institution. So I would encourage you to contact an Education USA center near you. I will be giving you their details very soon, and I will now be answering your questions. So please stop by our virtual booth to talk directly with the Education USA advisor today. There will be live chats. Find your local advising center on our website on educationusa.state.gov and follow us on social media for updates like our Facebook page, and you will receive a lot of valuable information with regards to applying to a US university. Okay, now I'm very, very happy. I'm almost at the end of my presentation, and I'm very, very happy to respond to your questions right now. Right. So Revati Hariharan asks, I'm in grade 10 and would like to know what subjects must be taken at high school to enter into engineering courses. Revati, if you're still with us for this webinar, then I would encourage you to, if you're looking at an engineering program, which is a quantitatively heavy program, it would be highly recommended that you choose courses in the sciences such as physics, chemistry, and/or biology, and certainly math. Math is a very important subject if you want to do anything that's quantitatively heavy, and engineering certainly is. So it's very important to take mathematics and science subjects. What is the perfect, Noor had initially asked, what is the perfect time to start applying, before finishing high school or after finishing high school? No, there's actually, if you want to if you want to graduate from your high school and directly go for an undergraduate program in the United States, the right time to apply would be if you're in your final year of high school, this is the right time to apply. Most of the deadlines for fall 2015 will fall between November and January. So in November, you will have some early deadlines, and in December and January, you will have the regular deadlines. So it's most important to apply this year during this application window period between November and February. And between November and February, all your applications should go to your chosen institutions for fall 2015 intake. However, if you want to apply later, after you finish high school, then you could take a gap year and do something constructive during the gap year and then apply for the subsequent intake in 2016. So I hope, Noor, that answers your question. I've already responded to Hassan's question about SAT score and whether that is good enough to get into college. And I've mentioned that US universities look at student profiles in a holistic manner. So it's important for you to ensure that you have a good holistic profile if you are planning to get into a specific college, not just the SAT score is, or another standardized test score is not the only criteria on which you will get admission. Mohammed asked me, Mohammed Hamza has just asked me, do you offer do you offer different programs in engineering? Hamza, Education USA is a network of advising centers that is supported by US Department of State, and we're the official source in US higher education. You can contact one of the advising centers near you to get more close guidance. We're not a university ourselves. We represent US higher education, and we represent all accredited US institutions of higher learning. So you can apply to different educational institutions in the United States that offer engineering programs. Okay. Yeah, that's a really good question by Patricia. Where can I find the list of accredited universities in the US? Patricia, there is a website called www.chea .org. chia.org is your source of information on accredited U.S. higher educational institution. By going to the Council of Higher Education Accreditation, or chia.org, you can type the name of any university you want to know. You want to know more about. You want to know about its accreditation status, and you will be able to know about its accreditation status. I'm just going to type in this web link over here, and I've sent it to you, Patricia. What Anisa asks, what is it meant by an accredited institution such as a university or college? That's a very good question, Anisa. Basically, an accredited institution is an institution that has gone through rigorous quality checks for its programmatic offerings. So if as an international student you go to an accredited institution, you can be very sure of getting quality education. It means that it has a regional or a national or a professional accreditation, and a regional, national, or professional agency has gone through its pedagogy, its programs, its academic rigor, faculty to student ratio, and several other criteria that helps these agencies identify the quality of the institution. So accreditation status is a quality parameter, or it's a quality check on an institution. And if you would like to know about the accreditation status of a particular university in the United States, you need to go to this website called CHEA, Council for Higher Education Accreditation, and chea.org. And SHIA is a website where you will be able to find accreditation status of different institutions. Alexandra from Romania has a question. Is it calculated based on, he has a question on GPA. Is it calculated based on all high school years? Usually US universities look at your performance across your high school, so class 9, 10, 11, and 12, or majorly the last 4 years of your high school is when it is what they will essentially look at and evaluate to understand how you have progressed academically and what are your academic strengths and interests. So all of those years will be looked at. Linus has asked me a question on what is the minimum GPA for a scholarship to get a scholarship in the United States. So first and foremost, I would tell all of you to look at our website educationusa.state.gov, and it's on your screen right now on the on my application on my presentation slide. That this website, as I said, is an exclusive website created for international students by Education USA, and it has on the homepage you can see a tab on financial aid, and every week financial aid updates are provided on this website, and you will be able to see what kind of financial aid is being offered by US higher education institutions on this website. And if you'd like to know more about criteria for funding, you should again go to our website and find out more about specifically about step 2, which is to finance your studies. There are a lot of resources, there are webinars, and there's a lot of other information provided there to help you essentially understand about financial aid. But primarily financial aid is not just given based on a standardized test score, but a whole lot of criteria, a whole lot of different factors are seen when financial aid is given to students. And as long as you're a student who has a holistic profile. By holistic profile, I mean that you have some talents, you've excelled in certain things, you have a decent educational background, and you have consistently performed, and you are a good fit for that institution, it's highly likely that you will be considered for some kind of financial aid. Although every institution in the US has its own policy when it comes to offering financial aid to international students, and you should look at the university's website closely to know more. And if you'd like to get financial aid updates, please visit our website. Financial aid updates are on the homepage for you to see. Right. I'd like to get some more questions. So feel free and keep those questions coming in. I am enjoying interacting with all of you, and I'm here to talk to you for some more time today. Ahmad has a question that I have finished high school, but it's a government school which is not working with the GPA system, and I've got 93.29%. Would I face a problem while applying for a scholarship? No, Ahmad, you will not face a problem. US universities are very well aware of the different education systems around the world, and they have specialists that understand different transcripts, different evaluation systems. So you do not have to worry about your GPA. They will be able to analyze and understand, and perhaps a short note from your high school counselor or your teachers explaining the evaluation system is going to be useful. Your school can also create something called a school profile and share with US universities, and also you could add it as part of your application package, or they could make comments about the evaluation system of your school in their letter of recommendation, which can go online or it can go as by mail. And US universities, that will help US universities to understand it. Otherwise, please don't worry. US universities have had a history of recruiting in students from all over the world, and they understand the different evaluation formats. Anara, the website for accredited US, is to find out the accreditation status of a US university. I am just sharing that. It is www.cheachia.org. I repeat, www.cheachia.org. That's where you need to go to know more about this, to know more about accreditation status of a particular university. Okay. Um, right. Is it, Razan asks me, is it important to have an LOR when applying? Absolutely, Razan. It's absolutely important. It's a pivotal part of your application to have a letter of recommendation. And when you apply to an institution in the United States for undergraduate studies, you can apply it individually to the school, and there is also another platform through which a lot of students apply to U.S. universities. Now that platform is the Common App. COMMON, Common APP. The Common Application is a common platform through which to which many U.S. universities are affiliated. And institutions are affiliated, and you can complete the common application form and apply to a multitude of universities just through the common application form. The common application form also has a specific section on teacher recommendations, and that needs to be completed by teachers and counselors in your school. So your letters of recommendation are critical. The common application form is a great platform to apply to different US universities. You don't have to repeat information again and again. All you have to do is just apply through that platform, and your information will be automatically fed into and sent to different US universities. And if you'd like to know more about Common App, you can go to www.commonapp.org. www.commonapp.org. The commonapp.org is it's a nonprofit membership organization, and it serves students and member institutions by providing applications that students and officials may submit to any of the 500 institutions affiliated to the Common App. Right. Alexander again asks another question, and his question is, do I have to take the TOEFL exam before applying to a university in the United States, or can I take it after applying? You have to take the TOEFL exam and the TOEFL test and the other standardized tests before the deadline, so that you are able to send your scores to US universities. You should not take the test after the deadline because they will not be considered. So it is very important to research institutions, create a short list of institutions, and thereafter uh, understand when are the deadlines for each of these institutions and when are the application materials due. Make perhaps a grid or a table of all this information for quick reference, and you can always be sure that you are sending materials on time. So it's very important to make a short list and put it into a grid with its cost of attendance, with the cost of attendance of each university you have on the short list, as well as their application deadlines. Patricia asks a question about, have you got any support centers in Nigeria? Would you like to, I would like to use your services. Patricia, we have, you can check about to find a center. Education USA has more than 400 centers, as I said, around the world. To find a center closest to you, you need to visit our website. And I have already mentioned our website, and the website is educationusa.state.gov, and you can find a center near you over there. Right. How difficult is it Casper asks me a question. How difficult is it to get into an undergraduate program from an Ivy League school? GPA and SAT scores, do you have to be extraordinary? See, Casper, each and every Ivy League institution has its own mission, has its own philosophy. They are different institutions with different culture and mission and vision, and you need to actually go to each of their websites and understand, are you a good fit to that institution? Also, universities in the US have information on incoming students. So if you'd like to know information about what was the student group like that was recruited, that got admitted last year in 2013 for 2008, for the incoming class of 2018, which means students who will start who started their education in 2013 and would complete their education in 2017. That would be, sorry, the incoming class of 2017, and you could be able to see their average SAT scores. You would be able to see where they come from, and all more information about them. So you could also review the incoming class profile on the college websites on each and every college you're looking at, and you should also look closely at what the institution is all about and what kind of a student are they looking for. So I would encourage you, Casper, to sort of be more open-minded and look at a lot of very good educational institutions in the US. Please don't keep yourself restricted to only one group of institutions. So also consider if there are other institutions that could be a good fit for you. I'm just going through your questions and trying to see which question would be more broadly applicable to your concerns, and I'm responding to them first. Noor asks if the the cost of attendance could vary between $20,000 to even upwards, and so when you're making a short list of universities, it's important that you sort of really identify what will be the overall cost of attending an institution and whether you are willing to invest that kind of money. And yes, there's certainly a chance to get financial aid, and that varies from institution to institution. So I would encourage you to look at the financial aid policy for international students, and that is mentioned on this university's website. Also, I think, Noor, what you can do is keep looking at educationusa.state.gov. As I said, it has a list of financial aid, information and updates every week. Look at that, and you will be able to find a lot of US schools that might interest you. Student loan for international students, I mean, essentially, you would have to look at students on the question of student loans. You need to get a student loan from your own country. But if you have a very, very close relative, or if you have a sibling in the United States and they are willing to take a loan on your behalf, that is how you can get a student loan. But without collateral, or without having somebody who lives in the United States or being a US citizen, I'm afraid I don't think you'll be able to take a loan. Um, so Somebody's asking me a question of what is the application deadline for fall 2016 semester. Now, fall 2016 deadlines will be between November 2015 and January, February 2016. The application period, the application window remains the same if you're applying for the fall semester any year. It's usually about 8 to 10 months before the start of the program. So if you were looking at fall 2015, your deadlines would be between November 2014 and February 2015. If you were applying for fall 2016 semester, your application deadlines would be between November 2015 and February 2016. Anisa has asked another question. When applying to a university, if they offer a scholarship, should I apply for the scholarship when I will should I apply for the scholarship, and I will usually apply for entry or apart from it. See, you do not have to separately apply for a scholarship in most cases. You can indicate that you're looking for financial aid on the application form. The institution will automatically consider you for financial aid. So there isn't a separate application process really for the same. Uh, Albertol Khalid asked a question about my sister's a 10th grader in British curriculum. I would like to ask what are the required papers and certificates to get into US university. She wants to get into medicine. Plus, I want to know if there's a possibility of getting scholarship there and how to get it. See, doesn't really matter whether you're following a British curriculum or a national curriculum. You can, uh, basically you should look at the commonapp.org if you're looking at applying through the Common App for an undergraduate program in the United States, or if you're looking at individual universities and schools in the US, you should look at their website to understand what their application requirements are. But as I mentioned, the application requirements remain the same. You will have to provide standardized test scores. You will have to provide your academic transcripts. You will have to provide letters of recommendation and essay. These are certainly the essential components of an application form. Aquinas asks me a question, but his question is related to, yeah, he wants to know about online classes. So if you're looking at online programs, some US universities do offer online programs, and you will have to check their websites. But if you generally want a taste of US higher education and you're looking at attending some lectures, massive online open courseware or MOOCs are a great way to sort of experience US higher education and at the comfort of your home without paying anything. So explore MOOCs. There are several MOOCs offered by organizations like Coursera, edX. You can look at some of these MOOCs to join some courses, that probably don't offer you credit, but it's a great way to experience US teaching style and interact with students from all over the world and expand your knowledge and horizon. Maria, all aspects of your application profile are very equally important. So, I mean, I cannot really say that one is important than the other, and you need to perfect all aspects of your application. Noor, you may find the Common App a little, like you had said, you're finding it a little confusing, but I would say that you just have to sort of, really take time and understand, make notes, and, consult an Education USA office near you for more information and for help. This is not Mohammed. He's asking a question related to master's education in the US, and I would say that this is not this specific webinar is not for master's education. It's for undergraduate studies in the US. So I would tell you to stay tuned and wait for different webinars we have planned today, which different advisors from around the world are hosting related to graduate studies in the US. This is only for undergraduate studies in the US. Okay, I am happy to take maybe one or two more questions before I sign out from today's webinar. Right. It was wonderful, students, to talk to you. I wish you the best of luck for your US higher education applications. And remember to please go to educationusa.state.gov, and if there are any questions, reach out to an Education USA center near you. I am certain they will be able to provide you a lot of help, um, and, uh, uh, and all the very best. This is applying to a US university and going to a US university for undergraduate studies is a very, it's going to be a very good decision professionally for you. You should understand, you should basically first sort of discuss your plans with your teachers and your parents, and if you're confident about applying, um, get in touch with an education USA advising center near you, and start taking help from an advisor and invest time into the application process. The United States is a great destination to go and study, and you will find that you will grow immensely personally and academically through that study experience, and it will be an experience to remember and cherish for the rest of your life. It does require a lot of time and effort to apply to a US university, but it is certainly worth that investment. And with that, I'd like to thank you for joining me today. It was wonderful to chat with you and answer all your questions, and it is bye from my end.